Let's bring in conservative radio talk show host and Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce, Democratic strategist Craig Varoga, and Fox News strategic analyst Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters. Let's pick this apart one by one. Tammy, to you first. What did you make of that news conference? It was quite dramatic, I would say, at certain points.
It was. I was actually very impressed with Mr. Miller. He has a manner where you kind of expect him to go off the rails a little bit, but he really stayed focused. I was impressed with his description about why they were doing it. This is very important. I think we're already seeing, not that General Kelly is the new communications director, but we're seeing an awareness in the White House now of the importance of describing why the White House is doing what they're doing. And they're right. All of the points in this new immigration reform have not just polled well with the American people, but it's also about common sense. These are not unusual dynamics that they're proposing. They're in our past. We've required in the past that people have sponsors even when they're trying to immigrate. The issue of English is key, for not just for us, but for the success of the immigrants themselves. And I think he made all very good points in that regard, and also was very open to all the questions that were posed to him.
Craig, I want your opinion on this, and give me an example. I mean, again, back in the 30s, back in the 40s, back in the 20s, my grandparents came. My grandfather spoke 6 languages, none of them English. And my grandmother spoke Russian, Romanian. You know, I'm just wondering what your opinion is now, especially considering that it has become quite a large, heavy weight when it comes to all of the welfare that taxpayers here have to pay out. But I know it's a double-edged sword.
Well, 2 of my 4 grandparents did not speak English when they came to the United States. And I like to think, as do all the members of my family, that they became productive citizens. But let's not mistake what happened today. This was a circus. This was a carnival. This was designed to distract attention from the polling numbers that came out today, where the president's rating is at 33%.
Which
this
poll?
Is also
Please
designed to
explain
distract
to our viewers
attention.
which poll, so that they get a sense of
well,
that.
there were 3 polls that came out today. There was Gallup, Rasmussen, and Quinnipiac. They all had the president, under 38 or lower, from 33, 36, 38%. Rasmussen is a Republican pollster. He had the president at 38%. But this news conference, was a spectacle. It's the same kind of distraction we get all of the time, and it was designed, to take attention away, 1, from the poll numbers, and 2, from the Russia investigation and from the sanctions. I mean, something very remarkable happened today, which is that the president of the United States said that he's signing a bill that he doesn't consider to be constitutional, that he doesn't consider to be legal. That's the same person who said a week ago that he wasn't going to enforce Obamacare, and the same person who a year and a half ago said that he could shoot somebody and get away with it.
Well,
this is just a distraction.
I want to focus on exactly what happened today, and for that, we've just gotten out of Shapiro before our cameras. He rushed back from that briefing. He's at the White House, and you were inside there. And,
yes.
and explain to our viewers and give us a sense of exactly what happened, first with Glenn Thrush of the New York Times.
Right. So we got the announcement, and we watched earlier this morning the unfolding, the revealing of the new legislation that's now on Capitol Hill about streamlining the legal immigration process into the United States and the green card applications, and streamlining that, as well as capping refugees into the United States at 50,000. Mr. Thrush from the New York Times was asking a series of questions that Stephen Miller, who you heard in the press conference talking about, this is designed to help Americans who might have lower wage jobs not lose their jobs because of the pressure of the immigrants who are coming in, designed to help them. So Mr. Thrush was asking a series of questions about, well, what's the data that these people at the lower economic end are losing their jobs? And it got very heated because neither man was answering the other's questions or statements. Let me just let you listen to a little bit of what Stephen Miller said.
Maybe it's time we had compassion, Glenn, for American workers. President Trump has met with American workers who've been replaced by foreign workers, and ask them how this has affected their lives.
And Liz, it didn't get any calmer after that. I think it was, you heard it was April Miller who was asking a series of questions about, well, who are you targeting here? Are you trying to target unemployed African-American workers? Are you trying to target unemployed Hispanic workers? And here is how Stephen Miller, toward the end of his appearance at the presser, responded.
We want to help unemployed African Americans in this country and unemployed workers of all backgrounds get jobs. And insinuations like Jim made trying to ascribe nefarious motives to a compassion immigration measure designed to help newcomers and current arrivals alike is wrong.
So this was a heated press conference. I mean, the exchange between Acosta from CNN and Stephen Miller, I mean, you haven't seen anything like that since, Mike Tyson bit the guy's ear. It was incredible. Back to you.
Wow. Incredible at a time, Colonel Ralph Peters, who's also standing by, where the discussion of Russia got the tail end of it. The president did sign the Russian sanction bill, and it also includes Iran and, of course, China. But he really did blast it, and he said that he put out an entire statement, and I believe there was a different part of it that cited a whole bunch of precedents that were on his side of the argument about why he shouldn't sign it. But there are way more important things right now, such as Russia meddling with our election and North Korea at the moment.
President Trump needs to stop acting like Vladimir Putin's love slave. Look, that was just wrong. When the president signed the bill because Congress twisted both his arms behind his back, and what happens? He comes out and attacks the bill, shows disunity in the face of Vladimir Putin's manifold and manifest threats around the world. And if the president truly believes that this bill, which Congress passed, both houses of Congress passed overwhelmingly, is unconstitutional.
Well, he signed it.
He needs to take it to the Supreme Court, where he will surely lose. I mean, Russia is not our friend. Liz, how can we explain this adulation of Vladimir Putin, where the president would prefer his view of the world, Putin's view of the world, over that of our Congress? I just say, thank God for the separation of powers.
Colonel Ralph Peters, Tammy Bruce, Craig Varoga.